We begin this hour in Central Africa, where Gabonese General Brice Oligui Nguema, who overthrew the Bongo dynasty, will be sworn in on Monday as transitional president, as the opposition called for its candidate to be recognized as the winner of weekend's election. Spokesperson for the new regime, Colonel Ulrich Manfoumbi, said the military sought to reassure donors that they would respect all commitments at home and abroad and phase in transitional institutions. The swearing-in of General Brice will take place at the Constitutional Court, while providing the first indication of how the Committee for the Transition and Restoration of Institutions would operate following Wednesday's purge. Now, Gabon's opposition Alternance 2023 alliance had remained silent since the coup, but on Thursday called on the military leaders to acknowledge its victory in the elections. Now, international relations and human security expert based in Yaoundé, Cameroon, Dr. Pisa Nseke, joins me now for an expert's view on this. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Pisa.
Good morning.
All right, so let's get straight to it. Now, today, the junta leader, Oligui Nguema, will be sworn in as Gabon's transitional president. Now, let's look at the implication of this on the country's, well, I call it democratic institution, so to speak.
So, first thing I have to say is this is quite a paradox, because when the military junta took over the government, they suspended the constitution and all institutions under the constitution. Then after that, they reinstated the constitutional court for this particular event of the swearing in of the transitional president. So under the constitution of the republic, there is no provision or no legal provision for what is going to happen today. But this is done in order to not only legitimize the military junta, but to also legalize it, to give it some form of legality. So that's why this Monday there's going to be the swearing president of the military leader, General Oligui Nguema Brice. So it's a kind of a legal paradox, but that's what is going on in order to legitimize the regime in front of the national and the international community.
All right. Now, you said something. You said that there is no provision for this kind of, what I call it, scenario right now in the Constitution. So how do we describe it?
Because according to the Constitution, when the president is no longer fit, you have a particular mechanism. You have, for example, the president of the Senate that takes over from a temporal basis. And from there has to be the holding of elections. This was seen in the case of 2009 when the former president, Bongo, died. So in this case, normally somebody from government or from the branch of government has to take over, and there has to be the holding of elections. But as you can see right now, the transitional leader is going to take over, and he has not really said when he's going to hand over. So it's kind of a legal paradox.
All right, now let's talk about the, of course, new leader himself. Some have said that maybe what would happen, going forward in Gabon might not be what they are used to, given the fact that the new leader is related to the Bongo dynasty and also has some sort of corruption allegation too. So what do you think is the future for Gabon right now with the new administration?
Well, it's a very good take. As for now, it's very difficult to say what is going to happen because, as I said, in the history of Gabon, this is the first time well, to some extent, this is the first successful coup. It's true that there were coups were done, but they were not very successful. So what's going to happen is very difficult to say. What the implications are going to be is difficult to say. Right now, I know that the national opinion is split. You have some people that want the Transitional Council to hand over power to a civilian regime in the fastest possible way. And you also have some people who are happy with the regime because they feel that the politicians and the democratic process has failed them. So some people are happy that the military has taken over, At the same time, you have some people that think that this is not a real coup d'etat. This is just a palace revolution in which it's still the same system, it's the same families, the same people that are taking over. So it's kind of murky for now, and we need to give it some days, weeks before we can see actually how effective or what's going to happen.
All right, now quickly before I let you go, the country's border is open, for business. I mean, since initially it was shut, but right now all of the border airspace, land border and all of that is open, particularly for business. Now, in spite of sanctions, what do you see happening to the economy of Gabon?
All right. So as I was saying, the case of Gabon is not the same case as Niger. It's not the same case as other countries. Why do I say it's not the same case? The first thing is that the elections were held under very dubious conditions, in the sense where there were no international or national observers. The internet was cut off. So this gave credit to people that felt that they were preparing an electoral holdup, or they were trying to create some kind of massive fraud. Now, the African Union has suspended Gabon, and it's obvious that the other countries in ECAS, that means Central African states, are not going to be happy with Gabon. But now, due to this circumstance of the elections, it's possible that the countries around would want some kind of return to civilian rule. Now, the borders are open. Borders are open, meaning that Gabon is open to business. Now we have to see what kind of sanctions should be given to Gabon. Gabon's economy that mostly depends on timber, oil, and manganese.
All right.
What's going to happen? Are they going to ban the exportation of these resources? We also have to see the interest of stakeholders. When I'm talking about the international stakeholders, we're talking about France, we're talking about China, etc.
Right.
Are they going to accept for these sanctions to be done?
All right,
so
Dr.
for now,
Peso,
I think we have to wait a little bit. It's not the same case as Niger, in the sense where
all right, Dr. Peso,
under sanctions. Just for now, they've been suspended, but we'll see what happens in the days to come.
All right, Dr. Peso, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for inviting me.